So there's our introductions. As the camera gets set up there. Now, as I mentioned for the girls' game, we will have no clock physically on the broadcast itself, so we'll just be kind of mentioning it throughout the broadcast. So just stay tuned with us throughout that. Thank you for your understanding for that as we get set here. Both teams getting set for should be a great encore to what was an epic girls finish. And now the men's varsity team looking to avenge the women's falling short earlier on. So, Katie, you see the boys actively each and every single day. So how do these boys operate on the court typically?
So they are, as Lovejoy is as a whole, they are very guard heavy. They have one go-to post, number 43, Harper Poole. They have Jared Langs, who can play big guy. He's 6'7", number 11, but he's mainly a guard, and so they do a lot of outside shooting, a lot of driving, not a whole lot of post work happening for the Lovejoy boys. In contrast, McKinney North has sophomore number 12, Dylan Frazier, brother to Brandon Frazier, who was one of their big post powerhouses last year. But they do a lot of post work with him, and Lovejoy's definitely gonna have to contain Dylan if they're in order to get a win tonight.
Well, being led by Coach Herma,
Pete Peabody, number 20, with the floater shot.
And the first shot of the evening will go to the Leopards.
Yes, the lone underclassman on the boys' Lovejoy varsity team, Pete's a sophomore.
Now it seems like, unlike the girls' team, which is very senior heavy, it's a little bit, there's a lot of juniors at least on the roster.
There are.
Lovejoy.
The boys also do have quite a few seniors. Some they're going to really miss next year. Jared Langs, Colby McSpadden, who is sick right now, Owen Abramson, who is in a boot. They're definitely going to miss some of those boys next year for sure, as there's generally some of their go-to starters. We are quite a broken team right now. We have, like I said, Owen's out with an ankle injury. Colby is sick. Josh Kirkland has some stitches right now. He is unable to attend the game. So those are three of their, two of their starters and one of their 6 guys off the bench. So Lovejoy's definitely a little bit beaten up today. We'll have to see how that impacts them throughout the game.
Well, they opened the game with a 4-0 run. Now McKinney North finally on the board. 4-2 ball game so far. As the injuries have piled on, but they still find a way to stay in this game. So 5:40 on the clock. What have you seen? You kind of hit on the points for the Lady Leopards last game of their offensive swings, typically third period. When do you usually see it from when you watch these guys play? When do they start to turn it on?
You know, the boys are really good at kind of just turning it on and leaving it on. Once they get hot, they'll stay hot for a good part of the game. But once you start seeing them hit a couple quick threes, then McKinney North could be in trouble for sure.
Well, we've seen both teams trade a couple misses here early on, but also make some early points. As another defensive stand, a shot up is no good.
Number 3, Chase Antoska for McKinney North with the shot.
As we're not going to be tied up with just under 5 minutes to play.
Lovejoy's definitely going to be looking to rely on Mitchell tonight, as their main point guard, Colby McSpadden, is out, and Kirkland is also out. So Mitchell's going to be their big go-to point guard tonight for sure. We'll have to see how that plays out for him. Colby McSpadden has actually had a torn ACL earlier in the season, so Mitchell has had some time in that point guard position and have to carry on through that.
They're going to get Lovejoy for the goaltend there and give the point. So now a 6-0 run after a 4-point burst from Lovejoy early. So now the Leopards looking to get a response, but McKinney North secures the rebound.
Dylan Frazier's definitely, he's a good rebounder. He's a good inside big post guy. Jared and Harper are definitely going to have to rebound up on him and try and limit him.
So with so many injuries on a team, boys or girls, how does that play into your, you mentioned broken. You kind of said it a couple times there describing the team so far. How does a team stay in cohesion, or at least try, with these many injuries in effect?
Harima has emphasized many times throughout the season that, especially with all of these injuries, I can't remember a game recently where the boys have had all of their players healthy. They seem to be battling injuries right and left. But let's see. They're definitely going to have to, Harima has emphasized knowing their role and not necessarily being able to fill the shoes, but able to step up and like make a difference, kind of fill where is needed to. Just being able to stepping up and just knowing their role. Harima's big on that.
Well, we'll see if the roles can be accounted for and some points can get some made here. We're going to see a shot taking the basket. They're going to call the travel on that.
Harper Poole, number 43.
As we're still at a 6-4 ball game with now 3:29 on the clock. So we see
one of our Play for Clay ribbons fell off Carson's shoulders. The boys have decided to continue it on as the girls were doing. They all have blue socks that have the number 22, which was Clay's basketball number on it. So they've all decided to continue that on, which is real nice of them, considering Clay had an older brother in 7th grade in the boys basketball program.
Well, this showcases just how much bigger it is than basketball and brings the whole community together, as there is the number 22 there on the bench as well, honoring him. next to Coach Herma.
Yes, of course. Boys were nice enough to leave that up, and they offered up. Generally, the boys will get main gym for JV Black, but they were nice enough to give it to the girls today for the big game.
And now McKinney North now going for a strike. They're going to get the offensive foul there.
That's one thing I've seen a lot from this Lovejoy team so far throughout the season is they are very good at taking charges. That is something that they excel in. You will see games where number 11, Jared Langs, Reed Westervelt, when he comes off the bench, they can take 3-4 charges a game.
Well, it looked like number 12 was trying to run for a first down in the football field there.
He is a football player indeed. So he is a big guy. He's a big lineman, tight end.
Yeah, pretty sure he'd just annihilate me if I tried to stop that. So we're going to see Lovejoy now with an opportunity. With just now 2:28 and counting. The hook shot won't fall. And now another chance for McKinney North here. And they're going to call.
So that'll be Lovejoy's second goaltending of the night. First one on PP Body, this one now on number 24, Carson Holden.
It's rare you see 4 points in a row going to goaltends.
I have not seen a goaltending call on Lovejoy all year, so, and I have gone to almost every game, so this is definitely new.
Yeah, this is. And now we're going to get a jump ball. So both teams playing hard early, but still McKinney North on an 8-0 run after Lovejoy's initial 4-0 showcase with 2:03 remaining. So where do you find, where does Lovejoy look to get some offensive points? Key players?
So Mitchell Weaver is definitely very good at driving to the basket, getting that layup. And when needed to, he can 100% hit that outside shot consistently. Jared Langs is another guy they'll look to for an outside three every now and then. Carson Holden, for sure. They might bring Carson out for a dunk every now and then, maybe Reed. For inside points, it's probably Jared. Most likely, like I said, very guard heavy. So most of our points will come from the outside with Mitchell or Jared or Carson. And you'll even see Pete every now and then hit a couple threes.
Well, this team has been strong all season long as they're going to get the double dribble called on them with 1:27 remaining. As McKinney North fast up the court, and they're going to call the travel on them. It's a lot of travel calls now, too.
Indeed. Just kind of looking at the crowd, it's very interesting to see that this is the smallest crowd that we've had all night, this being the varsity boys game. Just kind of tells you how much of an impact, like Lovejoy, we have a One Heart, One Lovejoy saying, community will come together for the girls' games when they need to.
Yes, absolutely. It's still an impressive crowd. Is now at the 10-0 run. Coach Herma will call the timeout. So walk me through, we talked about Coach Boxall, I felt like quite a bit in terms of his animations in a timeout. What have you seen from Coach Herma as being a spectator for most of the season?
Herma is definitely much more calm than Boxall as a coach. He's a very caring person. He's one of the first guys to ask you how your day was throughout. He's, as you can kind of see in this timeout, he's very calm, very just collected. He is a much softer voice than Boxall does, for sure. He's definitely not quite the bad cop from what I've seen.
Well, you can see the players coming back on now with officially 1:03 on the clock as Lovejoy will inbound here and try to put an end to this run that McKinney North's been on.
As we're coming in the last minute of the first quarter, I cannot think of a game specifically where the boys have only scored 4 points. Well, there's the 6th point in the first quarter.
And that will put an end to the run. Nice little.
Hopefully that'll be a good little pick-me-up for Lovejoy.
Yes. As it's now 10-6, 30 seconds to count. As McKinney North's comfortable with just leaving this out here near the midcourt. Slow it down a little bit and try to get one last play in.
Giving it to their point guard, J.J. Henry. He will sit out there for a while, just as we were mentioning before, Mallory Wood. but he's a very skilled point guard and can dribble circles around anybody for sure.
Well, that was 7 seconds, 5 seconds, 3. The shot's not going to fall. So this is a much lower scoring game than the girls' game.
Indeed it is. I feel like this is very out of personality for the boys. They generally, I see them scoring higher points than 6 1/4 for sure. So I guess Dylan Frazier has done a good job with limiting any sort of post moves that we can do. Our shots aren't quite falling, but we're not even taking as many shots as I generally see us take.
We're winning 3 of their last 4. The last loss coming on the 7th of February, 63-57 to Princeton. This team's been on, I mean, even if you look beyond that, they've won 6 of their last 8, and their losses have all come within a total of at least 9 points total accounts for their loss. One of those being against McKinney North, 41-44. They fell just short back on January 24th. So, coming off a loss, a close loss against them, against McKinney North at their house, how do you feel like that plays into a game that's had so much drama for them now?
So I definitely think Lovejoy is going to try and start, as they haven't had their best start to the game so far, they're definitely going to want to try and kind of start picking up and just staying consistent, as when they were playing McKinney North, they led the whole entire game until, I believe it was J.J. Henry, #1 from McKinney North, hit a last-second 3-point shot that tied it up and sent it to overtime, where Lovejoy ultimately lost in overtime after leading all of regulation. So they're definitely wanting to get their revenge for that.
Well, based on the last scoring of that game, 44-41 was the final of the first meeting. We're right on points average so far. A low defensive battle.
For sure. I kind of wonder how much those couple of losses that the boys have had. They obviously have a very strong team this year, but they've just had, like I mentioned earlier, they've had a cycle of injuries or sickness. It's been a while since they've had a full roster, and they've just kind of been cycling in and out, so they've had to, everyone's kind of had to learn to play different roles, maybe roles that they're not quite used to. We had, like I mentioned, Colby McSpadden had the torn ACL and now is sick. Owen has been healthy until he hurt his ankles in a boot. Sean Calhoun, #15, was sick. Harper Poole, #43, was sick. Jared Langs had an ankle injury earlier in the year. Lovejoy has seen it all this year. So they have each had to kind of step up and fill different roles that they may not have been looking to originally play in the beginning of the year.
Absolutely. And based on that score from before, typically they score in the 60-70 point range. So it's almost like a different entire Lovejoy that we see when they play against a team like McKinney North.
So Reed Westervelt and Dawson Holt were just subbed in. So this kind of tells you where Harem is at in the game right now. They generally bring Dawson when they want a 3. Dawson is one of their shooters that just comes off the bench specifically to go get a 3. And Reed Westervelt is one of their quick players. If they need a quick play, quick defense, that's when they bring out #12 Reed Westervelt. So right now, with all the injuries and everything, we have 3 people playing that aren't ever really starters. So it's definitely kind of shaking up the team, each people getting a little more minutes maybe than they're used to in different situations than they're used to as well.
Well, as Coach, you kind of mentioned on that, the substitutions and what those kind of mean with those players getting unaccounted for minutes as they are. How willing is he to go that deep in the bench for an extended period of time throughout the game?
Yeah, so especially towards the end of the game, Harema subbing, I always laugh at it. He's one of the coaches that'll put somebody in for offense, take them out for defense, and just keep rotating it. They'll keep them right on the very edge of the bench, and they rotate out offense and defense. So Jared Langs is one of the guys that you'll see him. They'll take him out when it's time to go on offense if they want to put him back in on defense. You'll see him rotate in and out very quickly when it gets closer in the game. But Generally, you don't see Dawson until a little bit later in the game. A close game might need a 3, but because of all these injuries, he's having to play him a little bit more a little sooner than he generally would. Reed's generally pretty quick off the bench when they need a quick play. He's a wide receiver for football. He is just very quick on his feet. Can go get. He's a very electric player for sure. We have John Green and Drew Bliven on the bench, who generally won't come in towards the end of the game, if at all. So, but Herma is not afraid to use his roster for sure.
Well, he had a 3 there to get him back within 4, or 6. I can't count.
Foul there on Mitchell Weaver, number 2. That's going to send number 10, Tawn Jones, to the line.
Yes, it's now a 17-12. Apologies for the muted audio there for a second. 4:50 to go. As now we're going to see 2 shots here. So your point you were mentioning there for a second with the substitutions, as Coach Herma brings in 2 more.
Jared Langs and Pete Peabody coming back in, taking out Sean and Reed. So they're looking to get a rebound right now off of this shot by Todd Jones. Brought in 2 of their tallest players, matching up Jared to Dylan.
And they will knock down both of those. As number 1 from McKinney North will sub back in, with now 4:50 remaining in our first half of action.
That's one thing I would say these boys are very good with. They are good at working the baseline. They're not afraid to drive baseline. And from there, sometimes they dunk it, or they're good at passing it out, or even just going for the baseline little shooter. They're not afraid of the baseline for sure.
Both teams are moving the ball well. It's just the points are falling for McKinney North right now. As an open 3.
Jared Langs takes a 3, and he hits it.
So there's the answer 3, as now the lead stays within 7. As Lovejoy really just needs some form of a defensive stand to cut into this lead. With what is now 3:53 on the clock. Lovejoy moving up.
Dustin Holt with the 3, and it is good.
And just like that, we're at 4 points. You were mentioning it, that little burst. Is this when we start to see Lovejoy start to level it out and just ride this back into a lead?
We could see a little change of momentum, especially if we continue to hit a couple more 3s.
We have 3:20 remaining on this first half.
All of the players Herma has in right now are perfectly capable of pulling up to shoot a 3. So it kind of tells us where his head's at right now, what he's wanting.
We'll definitely keep our eyes out for that. As McKinney North slowing this game out just a little bit, just keep trying to pass it to find an open look. With no shot clock also in high school basketball, you will see this. A timeout is the 3. Ball.
Jamie Hopkins, that's his second 3 of the night, so we'll see if they continue to look for him for a quick 3 throughout the night.
It's a solid defensive stand there from the Bulldogs. Gives them an opportunity here to try to extend this lead even further. As North coaching staff calls a play in. With now 2:10 remaining. Now under 2 minutes. Lovejoy's content with their defensive setup right now, looking more of a zone look. And McKinney North's comfortable just looking like a 4-out type scenario here.
They are indeed. It was interesting. They had their big guy, their sophomore, number 12, Dylan Frazier. He's 6'5" sophomore, huge guy. They had him out on the perimeter there for a minute.
Goes for a little mid-range shot, no good. And now Lovejoy with 1:15, a chance to get some points on the board here. You're gonna see a really awkward stop that's gonna result in a travel.
Yeah, I gotta worry about that he had the ankle injury earlier in the year.
We definitely want to keep an eye on him. He looks fine for now. As now the ball goes back in the hands of McKinney North. And based on their last play of holding the ball there for what looked like about 1.5 minutes, they might be comfortable doing it one more time here.
Looking for the last shot.
Absolutely, as we now go underneath a minute officially.
Doesn't look like that's gonna be their play for right now.
Yeah, they're gonna go a little bit faster.
I've noticed that the boys are leaving 35 Jamian Hopkins open quite a bit, and so far he's at 8 points, so they might want to try and start looking out for him a little bit more for sure.
Now, does the boys team, from what you've watched, are they much of a second half altering team on their game plan?
See, I would just describe the boys more as consistent. I'm hoping that they're able to step it up in the second half. But generally throughout the season, I've seen them being pretty consistent throughout the game.
Well, now with 15 seconds remaining, we'll see what Lovejoy can do here. Now under 10, the ball is being fought for. And they're going to go in the direction of the Bulldogs here. So now McKinney North already with the largest lead of the evening so far at 11. Now a chance to make this even larger, whether it be 14 or 13.
We got 7 seconds left, gonna have to go for a quick shot. Dylan Frazier out for the 3, and
I don't think that was he that was supposed to shoot that.
I don't think so. Maybe not.
But somehow McKinney North will still hold on to the largest lead of the evening as Coach Harriman, the Leopards, will reconcile in the locker room for what looks to be 10 minutes of halftime. So we're going to take a small timeout, let the clock count down. We'll put the timer back on with the graphic, and we'll be back. So thank you for tuning in to the Mascot Media Game of the Week. 29-18, Bulldogs holding on to a lead. All right, we're back from halftime. Hope you didn't miss us too much. Katie's going to come on now with a halftime report to break down the first half of action.
Yes, so towards the beginning of the game, Lovejoy started out with a 4-0 run, but McKinney North was able to strike back pretty early. And Lovejoy's has kind of been behind since then. They're currently at an 11-point deficit, but so far Lovejoy has done a pretty good job at limiting Dylan Frazier. He has 0 points, which is very good for them. That's definitely one of their keys to success when playing McKinney North. Hopefully that success will start coming in soon. Chase Antosca for McKinney North is at 9 points. We have Jamie and Hopkins, number 35, is at 8. They're the high scores for McKinney North right now. For Lovejoy, all the points are pretty evenly spread out. Lots of guys with 2 and 3. No outstanding scores so far as of right now. We've looked to lots of guys for quick threes, but lots of injuries have kind of set back Lovejoy a little bit. Just having to play with some kids with some combinations of players that maybe aren't necessarily used to.
All right. A little rotation there of headset, microphone. So last time these two teams met, the final score was 44-41. So we're looking to get a repeat here. Hopefully the flip side for Lovejoy.
Yes.
As Lovejoy looks to prevent from going 0-2 in the varsity action on the evening and trying to prevent themselves from going on a losing streak with just 2 games remaining following this is Wiley East and then Denison for senior night.
That'll be, hopefully they'll have a good section for Wiley East as it's the no school day, so maybe they'll have a good showing out in Wiley, considering it's not that far from here. But we'll have to see. The boys and Wiley East, I want to say the last time they played them, they beat them pretty easily. As the other way for girls, Wiley East is one of our big rivals. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully that'll be a solidified win against East, and then we'll see how they do against Denison.
Well, the first shot for Lovejoy coming out of the break did not fall. So now McKinney North trying to extend what was the largest lead of the first half as being 11. Now strikes the basket, and they're going to call the
block on number 2, Mitchell Weaver.
Yep, so that's going to send the line now for the Bulldogs. Number 1. And that's number 2's second foul there. So now 7-11. I feel like that's a sign to go to a 7-11.
Maybe get a Slurpee.
Yeah, it's. I don't think they do a special on time clocks, but you know. So 31-18. Lovejoy just looking for some points. This little mid-range game does not fall.
Mitchell being kept at 2 points has definitely been an impact on Lovejoy. He's generally one of their more high-scoring guards for sure. He's been kept at 2. His shots are not falling so far today, but that hit Chase Antosca for 3 right there for the Bulldogs.
And McKinney North just appears to be hitting on full cylinders right now. Coach Arama is not pleased.
Lovejoy just seems to be low on energy tonight.
Well, you mentioned that. And so what with 6:37 go to the left here in quarter number 3, how do you as a player, or how does your team, what do you do to try to get that momentum? Because every team has an off night. You can't stop it.
Right.
But how do you try and turn it back on to get back in action?
I would say maybe just kind of one of the leaders on the team, maybe kind of getting everybody's head back in the game, like kind of hyping up, say, you know, we can still win this. Let's not count ourselves out yet. Or in tonight's scenario, maybe just kind of knowing that like tonight's just bigger than basketball. Know what you're playing for, who you're playing for.
Who is that player?
So Clay Chapman passing away, kind of just the play for Clay motto going on throughout the whole night, and then also teacher appreciation night. So a lot of the guys' teachers are out here watching them.
more for also like the player to get the energy going. Who's that player on the Lovejoy staff as well, or the Lovejoy team as well? Who would be that offensive spark or play? I don't know the best way to say it. Morale booster. Who is that player that's like the battery of the team?
I would say Carson Holden probably could definitely be a leader in that, or Harper Poole, number 43, is just a guy who has a very big personality. I could definitely see him kind of getting his team hyped up a little bit. But then you have the more quiet leaders. Owen Abramson's out, but Jared Langs, who kind of just leads by example. He hasn't had one of his best nights as the other game. In Denison, he set 2 school records. So he's kind of having a more quiet night right now. But if he gets going, he could definitely lead by example, be a quiet leader for the team.
Well, they're going to call off the shot there for Lovejoy, so now just another chance to continue to extend this lead. Because I'm pretty sure that field goal was good from that kick.
It was a good kick right there.
Yeah, that was, I thought he was playing soccer there for a minute. So
with the tennis shoes he's wearing, he might as well be playing indoor soccer. It does not look like basketball shoes from here.
Yeah, I don't think those pass the eye test. Now just under 5:45. Lovejoy just trying to get a defensive stand here. And they will get it off a missed 3, so they gotta get some points eventually.
For sure.
And what's crazy is the fact that if you look at their games on LovejoyLeopards.net, you'll notice that for the most part, they score in the high. There we go. There's some points.
Right. There we go. Jared Langs hitting his 3.
But typically they score in that 60, 70 point range.
Right.
And they're not even halfway there yet.
Not looking to be a good sign so far. You saw Jared Langs make that 3 the touchdown. That's one of the school records that he set against the game in Denison. He hit 6 3-pointers, my bad. Against Denison, he had 39 points and 21 rebounds. So he had an amazing game. And then Carson Holden followed up the game afterwards with another 6 3-points. So if we can start getting those 2 to get some 3s falling, that might be pretty helpful for Lovejoy at this point.
Absolutely. As they go back to the mid-range, though, the shot does not fall. So now with 4:40 remaining, McKinney North back down the court. A little shake and bake, gets him down inside, he makes the shot.
Another shot that doesn't fall for Lovejoy. That seems to be the song so far, as they've had lots of shots that are just bouncing off the rim and not seem to be falling in.
And it, from my point of view, it's looking like they're getting inside. The shots just aren't falling.
No. Here Coach Vansel over there yelling for the travel.
Yeah, they're going to get that call. So the ref heard him. Loud and clear. So 4:05 remaining. As the lead is right now at 15. McKinney North's going to get the defensive stop there. And the big man's running down the court here.
He did that a couple times the first time they played it too. It's just a sight to see when the 6'4" sophomore runs down the court with the ball.
Yeah, I feel like you just don't get in the way of that.
Definitely shouldn't.
I mean, if you're set, all powers be, you take the charge, but you're going to feel it the next morning.
Definitely would hurt a little bit.
And he's going to get his shot.
And those are actually Frazier's first points of the game so far tonight. So Lovejoy has done a good job at quieting him down. It's just the Chase Santoska and Jamie and Hopkins that they're having trouble settling a little bit.
Yeah, really his only other performance was that form tackle in the first period. Shot doesn't fall, but the big man.
Harper Poole with the block right out of Dylan Frazier's hands.
Pickpockets him, the ball goes out, and now Lovejoy quickly up the court here.
Mitchell Weaver with the floater that doesn't fall yet again.
They like those mid-range shots.
He does indeed.
And that's rare, and nowadays it's all about threes or dunks or highlight reels.
Right.
You don't really see much of that mid-range anymore, so that's neat. We got 2:15 and counting.
It's another mid-range, but that one falls for Carson Holden, number 24.
Yep, that one will hit.
It's been really cool to see Carson grow as a player so far. He was a freshman on varsity as well. He obviously has always been one of the starters, always been getting good minutes, so to see him grow as a player over his 3 years, he's a junior, has been really fun.
Well, you mentioned the Wiley East game. That was actually one of their most impressive wins here at home, what appears to be on 7th grade appreciation night, a 69-38 win for the next game coming up. Be sure to go out there on Valentine's Day. Don't have any plans. Take your loved ones on a date to Wiley East. They will not be disappointed if you take them out there, I promise. But we're focused on right now, 38-23, one of the largest leads still being held on. How do you as a team, what do you do? I mean, do you just keep, they look like they're dedicated to the mid-range. They're not going to quit.
But they haven't seemed to be falling so far, so I'm hoping maybe they'll start looking for the 3 game. They have a couple, Mitchell I would definitely trust shooting a 3 at any point. Hopefully they look for some more of their 3-point shooters, maybe get Dawson back in the game, try and get them back in the game, and then maybe they can go back to their mid-range shots.
Do you feel like it's confidence that's just eluding them from being confident in taking those shots? Because you commonly see that when you start hitting on that mid-range, it's just because you don't feel that comfortable outside the arc. I
mean, maybe just the fact that nothing's falling so far, that's kind of drained their confidence a little bit. They seem to be shooting all right, though. If only things could start falling.
Absolutely. So under 2 minutes now, 1:50. The shot's not going to fall, but they're going to get the foul called. Number 15, the second team foul, his first. It has been a low foul night.
Indeed, both teams, all 3 teams really.
Yeah, I feel like we didn't even get to the free throws for the girls' game until what, the 2 minutes left?
Yeah, maybe something like that.
Because we've been given some desserts. I appreciate that.
Senior night cake and cookies.
My figure will not appreciate it, but you know, happens to the best of us. So thank you. And that free throw will go 1 for 2 at the line. And a 16-point lead being held on.
Ooh.
A little bit of work there on the inside.
And 1 for Carson Holden.
A little work like that will get a team going. So now
he's a fun player to watch for sure. He can pull up for 3, he can dribble it down court, he can go up for the dunk. He's very versatile.
Well, they're going to need that versatility. He won't knock down the free throw, but some defensive pressure here.
They brought in Reed Westerveld again, so I wouldn't be surprised if they started maybe doing a press of some sort.
Well, they got to get some stops here. They got to get a chain of stops.
However, they have also brought in Drew Bliven, who is not generally a player who gets, and he's being subbed out, he's not generally a player that gets many minutes in the game. So we'll have to see what that says about how they're looking to play the rest of the game so far.
Well, based on what I've heard about Coach Ehrman so far, it is the next man up mentality, probably. So we're going to have to see what Lovejoy can do here. 39-25. That's going to go over the back of the rim. We've seen a lot of over-the-head throws here tonight so far.
We have.
Dating back to the girls' game as well, as that game came down to an opportunity, a little over the head of the
I think
freshman.
Lovejoy's trying to play a little too fast, maybe.
Well, McKinney North tried to copy that playbook, and now they're going to get a turnover. And now give Lovejoy another chance with 1 minute We'll give it the second, too. 1:01 in period number 3. So now counting down the seconds, Lovejoy has to get some points.
Reed Westervelt's fouled on the shot. He'll go to the line.
Shot won't fall. 39 seconds to go here. Now 2 free throws. But if you're a Lovejoy fan, you at least like to see the ball movement still in effect. I mean, they're moving. It's just not that lucky tonight.
Which is disappointing for, of course, all their teachers are here for the appreciation night. Have a lot of blue in the crowd, a lot playing for right now. It's unfortunate to see the game turning out the way it is so far. Hopefully they can turn around so we have one varsity win to hold on to tonight.
Absolutely. As McKinney North starts to slow down the game a little bit, little ball movement, little work.
JVS Henry is definitely somebody who will just dribble the ball around for a couple minutes at a time, can just work it up the top half of the court for sure.
Well, that was on display, and they secure points, 5 seconds and counting. And that's going to be the way we end quarter number 3. 41-28 is our score right now. And we got 8 more minutes to go. So Lovejoy is going to have to literally explode with some offense here and be one of the most sound defensive performances for one more quarter, as McKinney North's comfortably sitting in a lead right now.
Definitely looking for players like Carson Holden, Jared Lang stepping up, as Carson's only at 7 points so far. Jared, I'm not sure how many, but he's having a pretty quiet game as well. Need some of those players to step up, hit a couple threes maybe.
Well, you mentioned we will see this team in playoff form. They will be performing later on after the season's concluded, but you still want to keep all the performances at the highest possible level that you can.
Right.
And based on what I'm seeing so far, this is, for a fact, one of their lowest scoring evenings, the only exception being 36 total points scored at Little Elm in 2019, December 7th. So it's been quite a while since we've had a performance like this so far.
Definitely have to credit that a little bit to Josh Kirkland, is always one of their guys who can drive to the lane, get the ball up and down the court. He's out tonight. Colby McSpadden is definitely one of their star players for sure. He'll almost certainly will be playing next year in college somewhere. He's out tonight, so they're losing that point. Owen Abramson is one of their guards as well. While he's not always the highest scorer, he has lots of assists. He can get the plays running, and they're missing those guys tonight for sure.
Well, we're seeing McKinney North trying to shorten this game clock, as Lovejoy's going to tip the ball out there. And now we're going to have to see the Bulldogs inbound with 7:25 left to go in the game. A little head nod. And they're going to let number 35 go to the line with 2 shots. And now that's the second foul for number 15, the 3rd team foul for Lovejoy. I don't think we're going to see the bonus tonight.
I hope not.
I mean, I'm personally not a fan of it, but, you know, some people like to sing free throw drills.
That puts Jamie Hopkins at 9 points for the night so far.
I believe that's him being the leading scorer now.
I believe so, yes. And there's his 10th.
So 43-28. So a 15-point lead. Really, that's been the lead since the 3rd quarter. I believe maybe even halftime. It was maybe like 11, I think it was.
Yes.
So it's been a double-digit lead, comfortable room for McKinney North much of this evening.
Thinking back on it, really all their fall kind of started with those 2 goaltending back-to-back.
Right. Yeah, they did. North
Reed Westervelt shoots a 3, and he gets it.
It all kind of started with that 10-0 run they had to start the game. Because technically, Lovejoy did start out with the first 4 points on the evening. So.
And gave them 4 out of their gave McKinney North 4 out of their next 10.
Yeah. It's been a weird night so far.
For sure.
As you can see, the McKinney North is not in the shooting mentality. They're trying to shorten this game. Just trying to continuously slash to the basket and then get a pass back out. So if you're Lovejoy, I mean, what's the counter to this? Because there is no shot clock. I mean, do you have a choice?
I feel like you have to start fouling, trying to get the ball back off of hopefully missed free throws.
Absolutely. Well, they're gonna intercept.
There's Reed Westervelt, but throws it away in an attempt to Mitchell Weaver.
A little fast movement there, and that does not work. Now under 6 minutes, and they will foul.
That's Sean Calhoun, number 15's 3rd personal foul.
And you almost feel like it was a frustration foul.
May have been.
But Coach Harriman's going to bring in now number 3, subbing out.
Drew Bliven, he's bringing out Mitchell. So we might see Carson Holden step up as a point guard right now.
So now the foulee, number 35, is going to inbound from North. As they will continue their shortening of the clock. Yeah, they don't want to score anymore.
And a block from Carson Holden on number 10, Todd Jones' shot. And that's going to be a foul on J.J. Henry, number 1 for McKinney North.
Pleading his case to the ref there, saying that his shoulder extended. Not his shoulder, his arm extended. That's called Arkansas education when you call your forearm a shoulder, unfortunately. But we're going to see the inbound here. Lovejoy trying to get some points. A little inside movement, ball just, that's the story of the night.
Still not falling.
That is the story of the night.
And that's going to be a foul on number 24, Carson Holden, I believe.
Bulldogs foul on number 3.
I'm sorry, foul on number 3, Chase Antosca.
His second.
Reed Westervelt loses the ball on the inbound pass there.
Yeah, ball falls right to his knees. The last thing you want is more points as the big man can't get the shot to fall. And they're going to go right back to their strategy. Shot's up, and shot will not fall. It's surprising they went for the 3. Oh my goodness.
And a very fancy shot by number 15, Sean Calhoun, that he got to fall.
2 Bulldogs go soaring over him. I'd be scared. But he collects himself and he gets the lead back down to 10. Plenty of time, plenty of time. But with the way McKinney North's playing,
Makes you a little bit skeptical, but hopeful still.
yes.
They have cut it down to 10. Looking at how many players McKinney North still has left on their bench compared to Lovejoy's 1, I believe I see 5 players that have not seen court time for North so far.
Well, how much does that play? As a player, you play these teams twice a year. Does that ever get in your head, a game like this, or based on the situation that Lovejoy's in, with the injuries, with the illnesses going on, do you just kind of take those losses and kind of put them in the back of your mind like, oh, we shouldn't have lost that game? Or do you apply it just like any other loss?
I feel like one thing Harriman has harped on throughout the year is they're going to take the loss, they're going to figure out what they did wrong and how they can improve upon that in practice, and then they're going to be done with it. Kind of shake it off, move on to the next game. Just play one game at a time. But definitely don't disregard it completely because you need to know why you lost the game, what you can do better.
Well, I'm pretty sure I know at least what one sentence in that report's going to be shots.
For sure.
I felt like the defense has been great, though. I mean, all night, 43 total points.
That's not something to shame at.
The thing is with that, even though Lovejoy only has 33 points, I haven't felt like McKinney North is playing outstanding defense.
And we've seen, I mean, a lot of the mid-range game shots, and there was plenty of threes that were shot throughout the evening that just have not fallen.
Lovejoy also hasn't gotten many second chance shots either.
No.
Not getting very many rebounds tonight at all.
That sounded like a brick hit the rim, but it does fall in. So now 44 to 33.
That brings Jamie and Hopkins' total to 11.
But if you're Lovejoy, if you knock down 2 threes, it's a single-digit ball game, and you're right back in this with 4:26 remaining.
I wouldn't be surprised if Herma brought in Dawson Holt, maybe.
Well, they're going to miss it. McKinney North's going to collect the rebound, and now another way to tick. But instead, they're going to strike the basket and extend this back out to 13.
We're definitely going to have to start looking for some threes more than getting in the paint.
Absolutely. You know, we're trying to avoid those mid-range game shots as well. So hook shot's going to go up and air soar straight over. And now we got 3:53, and if you're McKinney North, the tick strategy, 4 out.
That's going to be a foul on Jared Langs, number 11.
Or you can foul. And we are inching towards free throws. Almost to the bonus. Because that's now the 6th team foul for Lovejoy.
And that's going to bring Chase Antosca to the line for bonus.
Yeah, so we're going to have a free throw evening.
It kind of jinxed us, I think. I was joking about it. I don't like free throws, but we're going to get them.
Starting out a 1-and-1 opportunity here.
And that bounces off the front of the rim.
Yep.
Leopards secure the rebound.
Sounded like a brick, and now a chance for Lovejoy to try to strike here. You hit a 3, it's a 10-point game.
We're definitely going to have to play a little quicker right now than we are right now. A nice save by Carson Holden, but only for it to go back to McKinney North.
Yep, and they're going to stick to that fouling mentality.
And that's a foul on number 20, Pete Peabody. That is his first. That's going to send J.J. Henry to the line again.
Currently with an 8-point campaign. Now a chance to get to points 9 and 10. And
the first one is good.
Hits the front end, so he'll get his second. Do you feel like this is the strategy? I mean, personally, I feel like 3:17 is a lot of time. But I guess if you're Coach Arima, you're thinking that every single time they touch the ball, it's a minute off the clock.
I could definitely see that. That's one of the strategies we use for girls is even no matter the time during fourth quarter, you generally do have to get a little bit more aggressive with your fouls. We call it a red defense, where it's your only option to get the ball back, as they can just dribble circles around us as of right now. And there's another 3 for number 12, Reed Westervelt. That is his second 3 of the night.
Yeah, there has not been very many tonight, but they get it back within 12.
It's always fun to see players like Reed out here getting threes, as he doesn't always get as many minutes as I'm sure he would like to, as he's generally on the bench more, and we have more of our injured players getting a little bit more playing time, but he's hit 2 threes tonight. So it's fun to be able to see what he can do out here.
Well, it's great to see that he knocked down that shot. So now 2:58 to go. Do you foul, I guess, again, off the inbound? Or do you? I feel like now that you're engaged in that strategy of just shooting free throws, you just got to stick to it. Unless you feel like you're back where you want. But when they started doing that, it was a 10-point game. So And they try to foul him, but he's...
Someone loses a shoe. That's Reed Westervelt lost his shoe.
Yeah, the sneaker's gone.
He also looks like he's playing in regular tennis shoes rather than basketball shoes.
They almost look like Vans and soccer cleats melded together.
You see Reed in Adidas-looking tennis shoes. Mitchell has them. We're not seeing Colby play tonight, but he wears something very similar as well.
Maybe it's just because I'm so used to all the LeBrons and the Kobes and the PGs and all that. You get thrown off.
Carson's actually sporting a new pair of shoes tonight. He's generally wearing some blue and green shoes. He's got white and red ones today.
So did y'all do anything special for the whole Kobe, Gigi? Did they have any impact on the program at all? Did y'all do anything special?
We have locker room wraps, both the boys and the girls, and so they put up some like Kobe quotes around our locker room. Other than that, we always have, for the girls basketball, we have a quote of the day before every practice, or a little 5 minutes where our coach kind of talks to us. And for the first couple days, our quote of the day was always something Kobe related.
Did Kobe have any impact on your love for basketball or anything of that nature?
I feel like I may be a little too young to really remember him like in his prime playing. But I mean, watching highlight clips, obviously he's a great player, always fun to watch.
That he was. And also with his daughter Gigi Bryant, that was coming up and unfortunately passed as well. Is now at 2:28. We're going to go back to the line here for McKinney North.
North currently has a 12-point lead. And JJ Henry is back at the line for North.
I mean, I guess at least it's not a 15-point lead. We're trying to be optimistic.
I guess so.
And he will hit the first one.
And now you have that 15-point lead.
Yeah.
Not quite.
Well, 14 is what we can get to.
And he will knock down both.
So we're really going to have to see Lovejoy kind of picking up the pace a little bit if they're going to make a run. Carson Holden with the travel, but the shot is no good anyway.
Yeah, 2:20 to go here. You're really starting to see the pressure, the speed really start to impact those players for Lovejoy. And if you're North, it's just more of the same.
This is when you're seeing Harriman subbing techniques come in, is he has those two players sitting at the edge of the bench just ready to go in at any moment to go back on offense.
Well, they're letting a lot of time fall off.
North just does not seem to be letting up.
Yeah, so now with a minute 52. I never want to say a game's over. Never. But,
It's looking more and more like it.
yeah. An open three was...
Trying to kill some time off the clock, not even looking to shoot the threes at this point.
Yeah, 20 seconds falls off there from that possession. And now the leading scorer, or second leading scorer, number 35, will get his 2 shots at the line. Now in the double bonus, so he will get both. And hits the front. Now we're back to 15.
I think that one good takeaway Lovejoy can just have is that they have been able to so far limit Dylan to 4 points, their big guy, and he was a big impact in the game at North. So that could be one positive that Lovejoy is able to take away from this game.
And he hits the second, so now 54-36, 18-point lead. I don't know where I got 15 from earlier. And that shot doesn't fall. So a minute 28. Coach Harriman calling off the Hounds on the foul. Trying to just get a steal. As we've now entered underneath a minute 10. And it looks like McKinney North's just going to go ahead and settle with the full passing strategy, 4 out.
They're just playing keep away at this point, and they're succeeding. So.
And they're going to call a timeout from North. And with 55 seconds, you can see the McKinney North side starting to feel the victory come in. So,
seeing a couple of guys haven't seen any playing time yet come in for the last minute of the game.
well, this will be the first time since December 28th at the Colony Tournament that Lovejoy has lost more than one game in a back-to-back fashion. So, if there's anything that really the season's been great. It's just one of those nights that just really didn't hit.
Yep. And a block from number 43, Harper Poole. He's had a couple of those tonight.
He's not going to stop playing.
That he will not.
So now 32 seconds.
And Harper wouldn't settle for a slight little tip either. Harper has big personality. He's going to go for a full block or nothing for sure. Harper has worn his mom's jeans to school on multiple occasions.
Oh, mom jeans?
His mother's jeans. That's just his type of personality. He will go for it no matter the circumstance, for sure. I can see that carrying on to the basketball court.
Well, whatever's trending. And the final 10 seconds will wind off the clock here, and McKinney North will secure this win, 54-38. Well, Katie, final thoughts on the evening?
Just
overall?
Lovejoy should be glad that they were able to hold back down a little bit, but just kind of work on getting those shots to fall. I'm sure they will be taking a lot of shots in practice over these next couple days, as that was really kind of the big reason that we fell behind so badly, is those shots just weren't falling for us tonight.
Well, we did play for Clay for the entire evening. The Lovejoy community was out in full effect with the Blues showcasing, and we thank you everyone for tuning in to the broadcast. On behalf of myself, Lev Willie, Katie Dolberry, thank you for coming on tonight and giving us your basketball insight through the entire Lovejoy staff. We'll see you next time, folks. Have a great night and have a great rest of your week. Good night.